So I used to work in respiratory therapy, pulmonary therapy for about 13, 14 years at a hospital, big hospital here in downtown Phoenix. I remember when a physician's ego in an emergency setting caused that patient that was coding to die. Here's the short version of what happened. So they called the code blue. The patient was not intubated, didn't have a tube down their throat. So somebody needed to do the intubation because you want to intubate them. That way, someone like myself can use the ambu bag, the airbag, if you will, to ventilate them to provide oxygen to their lungs. And someone else, there's people in line doing CPR. What happened is that this physician, who was a pulmonologist, the room is packed and he tried to do the intubation. They use a certain kind of device to open up the airway, and that tube, he could not get it in. There was some blockage, something about the angle. He could not, change or angle it to get the airway in. There was other ICU doctors that were there, and I heard them say to this pulmonologist who was at the head of the bed, saying, hey, you need some help? You want me to try? And this guy who had Napoleon complex, just to be honest, because he was short and I think he was trying to make up for it, he would not give up on trying. And the minutes kept passing away. The person started to desat, the oxygen was going down, the heart rate was going down. And by the time anyone could try, it was too late. The patient passed away. And was there a guarantee that someone else was going to get the airway in? Nobody knows for sure, but he did not want to give up his authority or his position. His head was just big to himself. He thought he was all that. How does that connect with the music industry or with music approach? Because what happens if I have too much of an ego with me as a producer or just in songwriting? Here's 7 points that I've learned of how having too much of an ego can backfire. 1, it blocks feedback. When you get feedback from people that are honestly trying to help you out, you don't want to hear it. That's number 1. 2, you get stagnant. With your ego, you don't want to learn new things, new techniques, new ideas. You want to stay in your box. That's number 2. 3, what can occur is that working with other people becomes difficult because you don't want to hear their ideas in the studio. You don't want to hear, what they bring to the table, the creative blending. You just think what your idea is the best. Number 4, music should be about expression, not about competition. So if you're always wanting to compete and try to updo or beat somebody else, that shouldn't be the goal regarding that attitude of constant competition, instead of just trying to bring the best you can to your ideas and putting them out there. Number 5, your creativity can also get kind of stagnant or get stunned, if you will. And that's something that's not good for you as well. You kind of stay in this bubble yourself, not just learning new things you don't want to learn, but also you don't want to get creative with different ideas yourself. Point number 6 is you won't want to make relationships with other people or networking because you think that everyone should maybe come up to you. You shouldn't take the initiation and humble yourself to meet other people. That's sometimes what can happen. 7, won't be able to recognize your own weaknesses if you always have a big ego. So you just always think that everything you do is successful, that everything you do is going to be great, and you don't realize what you can improve on. So ego, no good in any aspect of business and human communication, but in music producing, songwriting, big connection with that.